I want to first go to Andrew here and have you unpack that statement from Ted Cruz about school choice being a civil right. What did he mean by that?
Well, what I think he means is that when we're looking at education in this country, every child should be able to go to a great school and should have access to an education that prepares him or her for real life, for graduation, for success. In terms of civil rights and rights, I think that that's really a matter of specific states. A lot of states have said that children do have the right to a quality education, and we need to do our best to make sure they get it.
And Yvonne, I know that the right to an education, the right for a parent to educate a child as he or she sees fit, is a fundamental right recognized under our Constitution. But still, does that include being able to move your child from one public school to another? Does that include moving a child from one private school to another? How does the fundamental right to education manifest itself in reality?
Well, you know, I think that one of the things I heard said earlier, and I just want to make sure that we say this at the beginning, I think that people who support public education do strongly believe that every child deserves a well-established, a robust curriculum, a great teacher, a great school environment, and opportunities to be successful. And what we see so far is that there's no better choice for children and families than a strong public school system. And we see across the country that public schools are outperforming any other venue for providing education K through 12, and that kids are, overall, in aggregate, do much better working in public school settings. So I think that we're all on the same page in terms of that discussion. Yes, every child deserves a great education. I just happen to believe that that's best served for most children in a public school setting.
Yeah, and Andrew, in the public school setting, there is no fundamental right to an equal education. Education is equally funded from school to school. And given that we all believe here, every single person, if you were to ask, does every student have a right to an excellent education, we would all say yes. But isn't one of the ramifications of school choice that there will be at least some, perhaps many students left behind?
Well, I think that the real difference of opinion between Yvonne and I is probably this. I believe that parents know their kids best, as she probably agrees with that too, but they should be able to determine where to send their kids. And I agree that public schools are an essential component to school choice. I went to public schools my whole life. My mother is a public school teacher. I think that a lot of families will still choose public schools, but they should also be able to make choices within the public sector. So be able to send your child to a school outside of your district. I support that. Magnet schools, which are theme-based public schools, such as math, science, technology, and the arts. Public charter schools, online academies, and also choices within the private sector, choosing to send their child to a private school or maybe homeschool their child. So I think that we need to give parents these choices, and even though public schools may work for many children, they don't work for every child, and let's give those children a personalized education.
And this gets then to a response I'm sure you hear all the time. What about the students whose parents aren't as engaged? Or about the students whose parents are working 3 jobs and can't be as engaged? What about those students who might not be able to benefit from parental involvement and direction towards a better school?
Well, the way I would respond to that is I've worked with so many families in school choice programs across the country, and families want to be more involved in their children's education, and we can't have a system that tells parents, you're not allowed to make any choices about your child's education, but we really want you involved later on. We need to get parents involved at the very beginning, and that's making the choice. So once parents have choices, you're going to see a lot more involved families, and I don't think working 3 jobs is prohibits any family from getting involved. I know people who work more jobs than that, and they are incredibly dedicated to their kids' education.